With us now is the former U.S. ambassador to Qatar who met Rex Tillerson while in Qatar before Tillerson became CEO of ExxonMobil Chase. He is Ambassador Chase Untermeyer. And what you've been hearing, whether it is climate change or the comments that he just made about China overstepping its boundaries when it started building islands in the South China Sea, is he giving you the sense that he is the right person for tough diplomacy, but also more diplomacy that works with humanitarian issues, not just issues of business and certainly saber-rattling?
You know, I wasn't a Donald Trump supporter, but I have to say that his selection of Rex Tillerson was truly inspired. I think Rex Tillerson is the kind of quality individual in any professional walk of life, including the practice of foreign affairs and diplomacy, whom we really need in a job like that. So I'm encouraged.
Well, he was pushed very hard in the beginning, and this is now 6 hours ago, about his relationship with Vladimir Putin. And look, there are all kinds of pictures of him being awarded medals of friendship from Vladimir Putin. He's worked extensively with him. And yet, let me play a little bit of when Senator Marco Rubio of Florida really pushed him hard on this and got him to give in on an issue about Putin investing and getting involved in our elections. Listen.
Mr. Tillerson, you've engaged in significant business activities in Russia, so I'm sure you're aware that very few things of a major proportion happen in that country without Vladimir Putin's permission. So I ask, based on your views of Russian politics and your experience, is it possible for something like this involving the United States elections to have happened without Vladimir Putin knowing about it and authorizing it?
I think that's a fair assumption.
That he would have
needed
to.
Mr. Tillerson conceding there, Ambassador, that it's a fair assumption that Vladimir Putin inserted himself and the Russians into our election. So it almost seems like everything else Rex Tillerson has said today has been very strong, very centrist, very calm, and it's that Russia point that has perhaps people concerned. After today, do you think they will still be concerned, or has he made a very valid point that he is for America and that's America first?
I've never been concerned that Mr. Tillerson had any alienation of being a strong, loyal American. He is a businessman. Business people have to make deals, and they have to deal with a variety of opposing parties, some of whom may not be very savory. And the list only starts with Vladimir Putin. It probably goes on down the list in lots of continents. So I view his experience in Russia as only helpful, by no means tainting in any way.
He also said, I'll have one mission: to represent the American people. Secretary of State deals with humanitarian issues and pushing certain countries that are hurting humanitarian and freedoms and things like that. Look, Qatar, for example, you having been the ambassador there, I'm sure you saw things where the average citizen might be repressed. The Secretary of State has to deal with those things. What do you think are his skill sets for doing that?
Well, first of all, I think Qatar is, at least in that neighborhood, at the top of the list when it comes to treating people well and fairly, at least treating their own people. All those countries in that neighborhood have very poor records when it comes to treating foreign workers, that is, the laborers who do contract work on everything from roads to restaurants. So I think that's a distinction to be made, that's a good story. Even so, I think the experience that Mr. Tillerson has had in that part of the world gives him not just a perspective, but real balance when it comes to sorting out human rights and commercial issues.
Well, listen, it's certainly encouraging when you have a business leader who's used to dealing with people who don't want to give on certain things to push them to the point where they do give. We'll see if anything comes up on Iran. Once again, in this sixth hour, it's been going on a long time. We thank you for joining us, Ambassador.
My great pleasure.